What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing, man? I hope everybody's doing good. Check it out, a little reflection, a little motivation for you. So, you're driving, I'm driving, constantly, and day stuff's going good, everything's feeling well, you're making money. And, I'm just driving and reflecting on where I've been and all the stuff I've done in my life and where I started and where I'm at and then where the future is. I grew up with nothing. We had enough to survive, but other than that, that was it. I was left as an early teenager. My girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, I used to sleep in the back of her car. I'd work midnights at Tim Hortons, take her to school, and then sleep in her car while she was in school. I have some crazy stories, but I started roofing when I was 20, 21. I started carrying shingles up a ladder. Somebody just asked me if I wanted to help for the day carry shingles because they had to ground drop them. Of course, I said yeah. I needed some cash. I lived in a trailer at the time. We started there, so we started making $450 a week. Man, I thought it was like good cash, so I stuck around. And I just a quick fast forward. I learned all the positions in roofing, and then by the time I was 26, I was starting to be a subcontractor, starting to get my crews and my insurance and all that stuff together. Then, did that for a while. When I was 29, I opened Paramount. I started Paramount. Now I'm 32. So it's been a very tight gap. And in those few years of becoming a sub to opening Paramount to where Paramount is now, we'll do over $3 million this year. So I started carrying roofing or shingles up a ladder not that long ago for $12 an hour to doing $3 million in volume, in a very short time. And Paramount's not even been open that long, which it's cool. And I'm just reflecting on it. Not only that, but I own a apartment building, a 12-unit apartment building. It's crazy. I own 11 different houses. I'm not saying this to brag. I'm just trying to put this into perspective so that you guys can understand. And it's just like you reflect on all this stuff. And for a while, I'm driving. I'm like, man, I fucking made it, man. I made it. All the blood, sweat, tears, going to sleep because your fingertips are just raw. You wake up in the middle of the night and you got to dip your hands in Vaseline or your fingers in Vaseline because your fingertips are just split from shingling and grabbing shingles constantly, and your knees are aching. I did all that. I was soaking wet on roofs, because of the sweat and 120 or whatever it was. I did all that. I went through all that to get to where I'm at now. And some days I feel like, man, I'm so far behind. I got so much stuff to do, and I'm constantly getting up, and I'm constantly going after it. And what's next, and what's next, and what's next? We're managing Paramount, which is, tons of volume. We're managing the real estate properties, which is 20 people's houses that we're constantly gotta, fix porch lights, and, thermostat doesn't work, or somebody's not paying rent. I gotta go evict them. I'm constantly doing that, and the office is taking so much. Now I have an in-house accountant, so I have all this stuff. But it's like, man, for a minute, it's like I made it, man. I made it. And again, it's not to brag or oh, he thinks he's the shit. I have so far to go. I'm way far, way behind Mark Zuckerberg or Tony Robbins or anything. I'm just a little speck. But I was thinking, I remember when I was just, being a sub or even just working. And I remember back, there was a young salesman. He was probably my age now. He's probably 32, 33. And he was a clean-cut guy. And he was selling roofs for a prime price, what I sell them for now. And I always I looked at him because I was always doing it cheaper because I was a sub and I was just trying to get a side job, put a couple thousand in my pocket. And I was like, how do you sell for that high of a price? And I thought it was so crazy. And he looked right at me and said, what did he say? He's like, you're well-spoken, you look clean, and your teeth are white. He said, that's the key. He said, that's all you need. It just blew me away. And I was like, man, this guy's just trying to, BS me. I didn't believe that. And it just took so long to sink in. When you're at that $30,000, $40,000 a year mark, to make it to the six-figure $100,000 is the hardest jump. Once you get to the six figures, you have money, you can invest, you have power, you have people, you have a network. But from 30 to 100 is the toughest place. And it takes you a little bit of time to realize what's going on. You think that there's a key to the kingdom, and the people that are above you have the key. But really, there is no key. There is no formula. It's You got to just do you. You got to find what works for you. You have to be honest. You have to have integrity. You have to be on time. You have to, have a fire every single day and wake up with that. But you have to just find out what works for you. I remember I was so nervous because everybody that I seen did sales were much older than me at the time, and still are. I mean, a lot of the business owners that, did their own sales were, in their 50s, 60s, been roofing their whole lives. And I was like, man, what a disadvantage for me, because I'm so much younger, and they're going to, just because a person's older, they're going to think that they're better than me. And it actually turned out to be quite the opposite. So many people, when I always explain my story when I do my sales appointments, say, I'm Eric, I own Paramount, I've been doing this for this long, I've been in business this long, I'm only 32, I have 50 employees. People are like, wow, congratulations. And it's almost like an edge up. But at the beginning, I thought it was like a disadvantage. Now I want to stay 32 forever, because people like, man, you did this. So it's like it builds trust, because I'm not some old man just looking up at your roof, like I'm jumping up there, like I'm a roofer, I'm by blood, this is what I do. So it's just a little bit of power, man. When you are getting there and you're constantly clawing at it, and you should be nervous, you should be going through things that hurt, because that means you're growing. You should be doing that. But but I guess the point I'm trying to make is there's no key to the kingdom. It's just consistent perseverance and integrity. I mean, that's really it. I mean, that's what you got to do. And you got to just take everything that you learn. You have to model other people. I mean, if you have to call in other companies to come give you an estimate at somebody else's house, then that's what you got to do. You got to see what everybody else is doing. You have to find your place in the area. And your place cannot be the cheapest price. You don't want to be in that place. That place is no good for anybody. You need to be the middle to premium price. Now, I understand when you're first getting going, you're advertising on Home Advisor and Angie's List and all this stuff to get your company going. Yes, you can't you can't be the most expensive. You can't ask for outrageous prices. You have to be comparable. But as your business grows, you have more, you have more power behind you. You have a backing. You have reviews. You have, word of mouth. So you can add a little bit more. But when you're just beginning, there's no secret. You just got to do you and find out what that niche is for you and how to really capitalize on your own talents. So, but I was driving, reflecting, like thinking back at all the stuff I went through and the nights that I had nowhere to sleep. And then I was like, man, I own this. Like, I made it. I'm like the kid from the trailer park nobody thought would ever do anything, because I had my head so far up my ass. And I was 26 before my head came out of my ass, So it's an analogy, but it's true. I mean, priorities were ass backwards. But I'm just thankful that one day I woke up, and now all the opportunities that are coming to me it's amazing. It's amazing to watch it grow. It's amazing that my kids can walk from their high school to their dad's office and walk in, and their secretary's there, and they can grab a water, or they can bring their friends and say, this is what we own this. Even though it's nothing big, it's not a franchise that's worldwide, but it's still a store, it's cool. And it's just I'm thankful to do it, but I want to share it with everybody else too, because I remember being in that position, and it just seemed like 30,000, like six figures is light years away. Buying a $300,000-$400,000 house was just light years away, like impossible. And now it's like, and it's not through the lottery. It's not because I got rich because Microsoft bought something off me, or I made an invention, or I built an app and Flippy Bird or whatever it's called. Like, I didn't do it. It's grind, sweat, blood, tears, hard work, blue collar, dirt around my neck, dirt under my fingernails, busted fingers. I mean, I've been there, man. I've been there. But keep going. Keep going. Always look at the next step. You should be nervous. You should be doing big things. You should be trying to sign contracts, get into stuff. Ask questions, find mentors. If you don't have a sales, or you're worried about your sales presentation, go to somebody's house, your mom's house, grandma's house, and then call 3 roofing companies over there and have your competitors bid to you. Have them pitch to you. Do your hair a little bit different, shave, grow a beard, whatever. It is what it is, man. You have to figure out what works for you. So if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. But I'm already late for this appointment. I just pulled over to get the rest of my stuff out. So I hope you guys are out there getting it, man. Get out there and get it. Let me know if there's anything I can do for you. I'll make videos as often as I can. I mean, I'm busy as hell, but that's all I got. So get out there and get it, boys.